Hello, everyone. Chirantan sir, we can start right now. I think our attendees are here.
Okay.
And so
Sure.
good morning, everyone. And today we are here for an exclusive webinar, and we have our interested candidates also. This is about exploring careers in PGDM information technology. We have with us our speakers, Dr. Surajit Ghosh Dastidar and Mr. Chirantan Chatterjee. Mr. Chirantan Chatterjee, he has over 27 years of rich experience in top global companies like Virtusa, Wipro, Cambridge Technologies, PwC, Tech Mahindra, Vodafone. He has worked in a senior management and leadership position across management consulting, IT services, corporate strategy, global delivery, mergers and acquisitions, finance, and global delivery of large complex problems. He specializes in AI ML, and he's a visiting professor of management at IMT. He teaches multiple subjects and is a part of the IMT's subject board for general management and strategy. Professor Surajit Ghosh Dastidar, he's our program chair for information technology. He has around 20 years of experience in research, in teaching, and in industry. He started his career as a software developer for DPS Technologies and was the chief data scientist for a startup working for clients such as Microsoft. He has done his MBM from Department of Business Management, Calcutta University, and PhD in Network Optimization. He is a SAS certified predictive modeler and was awarded the SAS Faculty Scholarship in 2019. He has published in journals like Journal of Statistical Software, International Journal of Business Analytics, and Intelligence, among others. He was a visiting scholar at the College of Business, University of Toledo in the United States, and has completed summer school in data science from the London School of Economics and Political Science. Dr. Dastidar is a seasoned instructor, having taught a wide range of data science courses and tutorials for over 2 decades. I welcome both our speakers today, and I'll open the floor for a brief introduction from both our speakers about what this program entails. I would like both of you to unravel and, peel the onion for our students. They are very eager to hear from both of you.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrila. So, welcome all the participants for this particular webinar. The idea behind this webinar is to give you some clarity in terms of this particular PGDM program in IT industry track that we are offering from the IMT Hyderabad. So let me start with a presentation. So let me share my slides. Andrila, can I share my slide? Yeah, I think, yeah. Yeah, I think this slide is visible to all of you. So let me formally start the presentation. So now the question is why this particular program, PGDM program in IT, and that to industry track with our partner HCL Tech. Now, so the idea was that so there might be a common perception that this particular program is designed only for people who want to join the tech industry. Okay, so we are here to clarify that misconception about that this particular program is not at all for people who would like to join the IT industry, only specifically IT industry. Because if you look at the industry as a whole, the idea is that pure play, there are a lot of companies which are not pure play IT or tech companies. Okay, for example, of course, there are companies like, if you talk about the services industry, there are companies like HCL Tech, there are companies like Infosys, there are companies like Wipro, Mahindra Tech, and so on. So these are pure play IT companies, IT services, and there are, of course, there are a lot of product companies. You talk about Microsoft, Google, and all that. But apart from that, there are a lot of other companies which are, I mean, tech ops or tech finance or tech health. Because the idea is, given the evolution of the industry, each and every, if you talk about startup, if you talk about every company, there is some tech involved in it. So the way we are trying to understand is every industry is getting techified. So if you talk about finance, finance is getting fintech. If you talk about health startups or even health industry or the hospitality industry is techified in terms of health tech. If you talk about marketing, marketing is also techified in terms of mark tech and so on. So there is a tech involvement in every industry across sectors and especially for startups. For example, if you talk about any company, you talk about Uber in transportation, if you talk about Zomato, if you talk about, let's say, Swiggy and all that, these are not pure play operations. There is some tech involved in it. So if you talk about Uber, there is a lot of tech involved in it. If you talk about Zomato, there is a lot of tech involved in it. So this is like tech with operations. Similarly, if you talk about a lot of other sectors, if you talk about finance also, if you talk about, let's say, Zerodha and all that, these are all definitely they are in the finance sector, but there is a large amount of tech involved. So the idea is these kind of companies specifically require professionals or talent which can understand both the business and the tech part of it. And tech does not always involve pure play tech, which involves coding and all that, because these companies across sectors tries to leverage emerging tech. If you talk about AI, ML, cloud computing, IoT, and blockchain, they're trying to leverage this emerging technologies to enhance their business. It might be from the food delivery business, it might be from the healthcare sector, it might be from the finance sector, it might be from the marketing sector, but the entire industry is moving towards leveraging tech for their business, and that's where they require huge amount of talent which can not only understand the business where the management part comes in, but also can understand the emerging tech landscape and can leverage that technology to enhance and facilitate their business. That's where we felt in talking with our industry partners, we spoke with large industry partners. For example, HCL Tech is one of the partners for this particular program, but we also spoke with a lot of industry people from large companies, let's say Wipro and so on. And then finally, we conceptualized that program that yes, there is a industry requirement for this kind of program where these companies, not only these pure play IT services and product companies, but there is also a large requirement of talent for companies which are not pure play tech companies, but they try to leverage technologies in order to enhance their business decisions. So if you talk about any company these days, they are storehouse of large quantities of data. And data is what is driving a lot of this tech ops, tech finance, tech marketing companies, because whatever you order, so let's say you are ordering from, let's say, your app, or you ordering a particular, or maybe you book a cab, or it might be Make My Trip, or it might be any commerce, let's say Amazon or maybe Flipkart and so on. The idea is that you are using technology to do a certain business in a certain sector. So there are two components or two pillars of this particular program, as we say it. One is the management part and one is the technology aspect of it. So people were coming with, let's say, a couple of years of experience in technology. For example, they have work in IT industries, or like, for example, Infosys or TCS or HCL Tech or Cognizant and so on. So what is the takeaway for them? So the idea is that they will have a good understanding. They have a good balance of what is the business behind this particular, let's say, companies which has tech play. For example, if you talk about Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, maybe Zerodha and so on. So there is a tech component embedded in this particular program, and there is also a management component embedded in this particular program. So people who are coming from tech will be benefit from the understanding of business functions, business management in terms of the foundational courses. So So they will have an understanding of the overall business and how emerging tech can be leveraged for this kind of business. Okay, in terms of IT strategy, digital strategy, of course, the foundational courses are there and so on. And there's the other pillar who is coming from a particular, let's say, a so-called business function or domain expertise. So let's say they have worked in a certain industry, which might be finance, which might be marketing, and so on. And now they want to maybe transition from a pure play domain expertise and try to leverage this domain with tech. Because going forward, as we understand, as the in terms of the chat GPT and the AI era, every company would be trying to leverage some amount of tech to for their business. It might be a pure play, let's say manufacturing, but nobody can escape the power of AI, and that's what we are looking forward. Okay, so the idea is that we have designed the curriculum in such a way that there is a balance between management function and the technology aspect of it. It does not mean that if somebody, if a potential applicant passes out of this particular program, it is only that you are only looking at the tech industry as hiring. Okay, because across sectors, it might be manufacturing, it might be finance, it might be marketing, it might be let's say food delivery services or maybe transportation. Every company is looking right now towards talent which can understand both business and tech and can merge these two, so for the benefit of the organization. And that's where we felt in talking with our industry expert, there is need of such a program which can maybe nurture and harness this kind of talent for the industry. And there is a requirement for this kind of talent in which we felt in talking with our industry partners like HCL Tech, and then we have Wipro and so on. And of course, IMT Hyderabad is known for its flagship PGDM program, and we already have a lot of recruiters who already recruit from different diverse programs like from PGDM General, PGDM Finance, and PGDM Marketing. So it's not that it is in that way we it's already that we have a good presence in the market in terms of our flagship PGDM program. But this program is a niche program which is specifically designed to nurture talent and develop talent which can work and integrate the functions of both business and technology. So that is the idea. And if you and there might be some questions. For example, if you look at this particular infographic, so you can definitely see that there is a lot of percentage of hiring that is coming from e-commerce and technology startups. Okay, so it does not mean that it is only related to only pure play tech companies. It also involves that tech will be across sectors, and there will be a lot of requirement of such kind of talent which can understand both business and tech. So that is the idea behind this particular program. Now, as I said, if you look at pure play tech companies like IT services like Wipro, Tech Mahindra, and all that, of course, there will be companies which has that kind of a technology requirement. But in addition to that, that's what I am coming from, that there are a lot of other companies. For example, we talk about the food delivery services or Uber or Ola or transportation or maybe health tech or finance tech or fintech. There will be all such companies as going towards an era where there will be a lot of involvement of tech, and there will be a lot of involvement and understanding of tech along with business. And that's where we are coming from in terms of designing the program, where there is a balance between an understanding of business in foundational core subjects in terms of like marketing, finance, strategy, accounting, and so on. And in addition to that, there also is a good understanding of emerging tech like AI, ML, maybe let's say uh, IoT, blockchain, and so on. Okay, so that is the idea. Now, in terms of the program highlights, of course, we have partnered with HCL Tech. So one of the niche about this particular program is in second year, of course, there will be internships like our typical PGDM flagship programs. There will be internships at the end of first year. which is typically a 12-week internship program where the students are supposed to intern at a certain company. And it may not be necessarily a tech company. There might be sectoral companies which involve a lot of tech. So that is there. In addition to that, there are certain organization-based electives, which typically may or may not happen, but this might be typically will be in an organization in addition to the internship program that we have in between the first and second year. So as you clear your, I mean, you move from first year to second year, typically it starts from the month of April to the month of June. It is typically a 12-week internship program. In addition to that, we will also have organization-based electives, which is typically co-designed and co-delivered with our partners from HCL Tech, along with other industry professionals. Okay. And along with that, we have digital labs, workshops, hackathons, and so on in emerging technology. So the entire curriculum is designed in such a way that it caters to the industry requirement of developing and nurturing talent. Okay. So the objective of this program, as I said repeatedly, the objective of this program is to develop talent which gets readily absorbed in the not only in the IT industry but across sectors. Because as I said, every industry is getting techified, and there is a lot of requirement of talent which can understand not only technologies, so but also business. So you might have a question like, okay, if I opt for this particular program, what kind of role or what kind of functions can I expect after passing out this program? Which is a natural question. So for that, I would like to answer, like, for example, typically a student or an applicant who is opting for this particular program and looking for potential job roles. This can be typically, like, for example, product managers, or it can be typically who understand, like, business analyst or product managers or business analyst. Okay. So these are the typical roles where, of course, after my talk, we have Mr. Chirantan Chatterjee, who is from the industry also. He will elaborate on the industry aspect of it, that what is the need for such a program, and what kind of profiles, what kind of job roles are in requirement these days. So I will not delve deep into that. That will be taken up by Mr. Chirantan. But the idea is that these talent can leverage both technology and have a good understanding of business functions, namely marketing, finance, and so on. So this already is taken care. So Andrila, would be taking up questions now, or
So we will take up questions after Chirantan sir's speech is over.
okay,
Introduction.
fine.
Yes.
So thank you all. Thank you for attending this particular webinar. Over to you, Chirantan.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Surajit. So what I'll do is let me share the screen in the interest of the bandwidth. Let me wait. I'll just switch off the video. 1 second. Yeah. So are you able to see my? Is it come up? Andrila, is the screen visible?
Yes, it is visible. Yes.
Okay. So just a quick, overview for the participants in this webinar. Essentially, I think as Andrel already briefly spoke, I have been associated with IMT since 2012. Pretty much, it's been 12 years now. And I've been kind of as a visiting faculty across the different departments. I've been kind of coming and taking classes more from the industry side. So it is being on the general management, marketing, corporate strategy, mergers and acquisitions, and the last few semesters with Dr. Surajit on the data analytics, IT, AI, and I've also been on the subject board. So one context for all of you is, I applied, I was part of the subject board. We had Professor Surajit, the dean of IMT, the director, and some of the industry, senior, like CXOs, CEOs from different companies, who basically came together to figure out what is it like. If I had to do an MBA today, if I was in your place, right, and the other shoe is if I am hiring, right, from having worked in PwC, Wipro, TechM, Virtusa, right, and also on the startup side. So there are multiple areas. Last 5 years I've been more deep into AI side. So I think what is it that the industry is looking for, right? So end of the day, the success of this program is if we can make sure that all the students who join IMT's this particular flagship program, right, gets very well placed with excellent salaries in big companies, right? That's the test, litmus test to make it successful. So I think applying the design, if you're familiar with design thinking pattern, right? So walk a mile in your shoes, which is the student who is looking for this program, and walk a mile with the company which is going to hire the student, right? So both of this, what is it, that this program should address? So that was the principle. With that, I think I have a few slides with a lot of content. I'll just keep, passing through it, but just note down your questions and post it. I won't get into the detail, but I just want to keep the flow so that you get a perspective on kind of the, thought process and the homework that went into designing this particular program. Okay, let me switch off the video for a better, transmission. All right. Okay, so just so that you have some idea on what is it that we are seeing. Okay, so let me tell you, is this slide come up? In fact, participants can also participate,
yes,
right? If any of it's up, right?
Yes.
Okay, so feel free to, if you want to pause, or just post it in the chat, feel free to ask questions, right? So I personally, when I see it from the industry, let me tell you today, at least in the IT industry, we generally today are kind of cutting off jobs which are like so-called pure general management, right? Okay, and the reason being, we are looking for people who are more hands-on, who are technically more competent, and who can get the job done. And today, if you are doing an MBA, you be typically, expected to take up more of maybe a managerial position. And then when you grow up, as you get experience, you become a senior manager, director, VP, and so on, right? But let me tell you, as you grow up the rank, and all of us, myself, I keep going back to school every maybe 3 or 5 years, right, to upgrade myself. So if you're looking for a very fulfilling career, and this has today become a global village, it is just not India. People are getting placed abroad. In fact, there's a high probability that placements will start happening more abroad than in India. If you look at the reports, Japan is going through a crazy time where they don't have people, to come for the jobs. The old age population is pretty high, right? Go look at Germany. So there are a lot of these countries. So far, it's only US, Canada, Australia. People have been looking at English-speaking countries, but there are a lot of these non-English-speaking countries also where there's so many jobs, but there is no, supply. Unlike in India, you may see that the supply is huge, right? So, and I have been recruiting personally, from the IIMs, Ahmedabad, Joka, IIMs, ISB regularly for the last, almost ever since ISB was set up. From the first batch itself, on every batch, we have, hired folks from ISB. And based on all of this, and then I personally looked into Harvard, Stanford, MIT Sloan, inputs, and then SP Jain has a wonderful program. So multiple, the best of the breed, what are they doing, right? And the new, because this PGDM IT, I mean, it's coined as IT when me and Professor and the whole team were discussing, but underlying, it is also to make sure this team which is joining is equipped to handle AI-related, the complete, dynamics that is happening, because there's a huge impact because of the artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? So as managers, you need to have good idea about how to manage AI/ML based, teams, right? There is everywhere there is AI based work going on, right? So if you are not equipped, if you don't understand, if you don't get certified in some of those areas, then remember your teams may not also be respecting you as a manager. So you have to be commanding respect. When you join an organization, you've got to command respect from your team members, right? At the same time, understand and correlate with your end clients, right? With your bosses. So it's a complete, today it's a matrix organization in most companies. It is not that one person boss reporting structure, keep him happy and things go on smoothly. No more. No more that days. Today it's a completely, you have got a, what we call as a scatter plot, where you get a 360-degree feedback when you work as a manager or, whatever. Depending on the number of years of experience, you may join as an analyst, a consultant. That may be the entry level. So quick summary here, you have the major trends that we are seeing is, when it comes to a pure general management MBA, I would say the jobs would be possibly the demand of, campus hiring might reduce. Whereas the people who are specializing in IT, which is more on the AI, ML, the emerging technologies will always have a higher demand, because that is what the industry is looking for, bro. So here you have digital transformation, emerging technologies with, say, AI, ML focus, data analytics and business intelligence, cyber security, agile DevOps practices, and so on, right? So this is so that any of you are from the IT industry, you'll be able to relate to it. Otherwise, I think we'll address this a little more when we do the Q&A. Let me move to the next slide. So this is high at when I call an IT manager, at a high level, I kept this generic term, right? What is it if you have to get placed after you do this program? See, don't have this expectation that, oh, I pay the fee, I do the program, and I automatically, earn the, I would say earn the right to get placed. It doesn't happen that way. There is a lot of self-discipline and hard work that has to go in if you want to be successful, to make sure you get placed after the programming is done. This programming is being set up very well, the way it is being structured, a beautiful campus, a beautiful set of professors who are going to be delivering this along with the industry practitioners. And the beautiful thing is, there's a company called HCL, then there are other companies which have already partnered, where they have committed that if the students are good, they will have a minimum number of people they're going to take from this program. So that is a big thing. And, of course, there are bigger other international companies, the consulting companies like the Deloittes of the world, the big four. I think Professor Surajit just kept the Indian ones because they were the initial set where they wanted to commit. So there are many more international, like the consulting companies, the global companies, IBMs. So those are also going to be there because there are a lot more companies which come to IMT for placements. Now, remember what they would look for. Technical proficiency, right? So depending on which stream you come from, what's your graduation, what's your level of knowledge on the basics of computers, or you're willing to pick it up, right? In the next 2 years when you join, then you have to have that business acumen, very important. So when you join a company, whichever industry that is in, suppose you join an IT industry or a consulting company, remember, you're going to be working on projects for clients. And that client may be today, 3 months or 6 months, you may work for a healthcare client. So to pick up the healthcare domain. Another 6 months, you may work for banking client. So to pick up the banking, right? Unlike you join a bank, you just have to whole life possibly do banking, right? But typically in the IT side, you have to become a domain specialist in addition to technology. So you have to keep picking on, technology and domain. And that is what will start differentiating you. That is why you start commanding a higher consulting billing rate, right? And that's the reason people in the IT industry travel all over the world. They make great client contacts, international client contacts, run projects globally, so well respected, right? So it's a very dynamic and a very fulfilling career. So you need to have analytical and problem solving capabilities, effective communication skills, and you need to be able to build up network and relationships. That's very also important. And one of the things is also design thinking, which is a basic, which cuts across all of it. So then here, leadership and teamwork is extremely important, in a management position. So you have to make sure that you lead your teams, right? Lead your teams, manage them with objectives, right? Set their goals, review it. If you don't review, this is what I say, if you get what you inspect and not what you expect. So if you want to be a great manager, you have to plan yours as well as your team's goals for the year, by quarter, by month. So these are all part of your leadership and team work, right? Together. Then only you can be successful along with your team. So we create high-performing teams. Then project management, basic skills, people who get into the project management track, it's how do you run a project plan? How do you do you have a budget that is given. How do you execute the entire thing within the budget, right? The risk management, issue management, everything, the whole SDLC life cycle. Then be adaptable and, be willing to learn, right? Be agile. Then strategic thinking, ethical and professional conduct. So all of these are typical skills that you should demonstrate. Okay, with that, I just I'll just cover some of the roles that the IT industry would hire from, right, or look forward to. Typically, the starting could be a business analyst, right? It starts off with a business analyst, and we kind of, even with people who have 5-10 years experience of freshers, they join at different levels. Right, so business analyst could be anybody who has had a graduation with an MBA with IT specialization, understanding of the industry, would join as a business analyst. In some companies, if they have a focus more on QA, they may have the person start with like a QA analyst, because in order for you to do a QA, you also need to understand requirements, test it, right? Test and certify the software against the requirements. So that is also another track, right? Related. Then you can become an IT consultant, which is basically you study the landscape, right, of the whole IT infrastructure of a company or the client, and what are their current investments, what is their current as a state, what is the potential to be state, do the gap analysis, and you can go and recommend. We do what we call a business process reengineering exercise. What is it that the CIO needs to do in order to achieve his or her business objectives for the year, right? So improve the efficiencies, solve the complex problems, and so on. Then other roles, I'll just kind of quickly cover it. Manager, data analytics. So basically, you're managing a team which is hardcore into data analytics. So you should have a good understanding of data and how data is managed. Systems managers, data processing managers. Then there's IT project management. So this is a bigger role, right? People who already have some experience. If you're a fresher, the all probability they wouldn't take you for such a role, right? So I listed out because from B schools, different B schools have students with different levels of experience. If there is a student who has worked after doing his graduation or engineering or whatever for 10, 12, 15 years and now wants to experience management at a deeper level to practice it, right? Such students, when they come for an MBA program, they can just go back to the industry and join at a much senior level, right? At a director level or a VP level. That's quite common as well. So then again, the other area, cybersecurity, as you know, hacking, security, these are deep fake, whatnot is happening. So a lot of jobs that are there today will get eliminated and new job roles will get created. Okay. So you will see, these are all standard relatively roles and not more newer and newer roles that are coming up. Then there's IT product manager. So every company is designing products, right? And typically software companies help the end user client company to come up with those products. And that needs a product manager. And a product manager's job, like an application manager is for a one-time application, whereas the product manager's job is to do release management, take the complete requirements backlog from all the stakeholders, create what is it that the product release will have in each release, what is the roadmap for multi-year rollout, the infrastructure, so everything. So the product manager is responsible for the entire product's, the life cycle of development, production support, maintenance, the whole complete 360-degree of the product. Similarly, IT strategy and innovation manager, right? This essentially would focus on what all, typically a company, whether it's your company or the end company. You may be placed, if not in a software company, in an end company. This is, for example, suppose you join say a Novartis, right? Or you join a Glaxo or whatever, Pfizer, any of these healthcare companies, or a bank, right? Say Citibank or JP Morgan Chase. So over there also, as an IT strategy innovation manager, there are teams which are specifically IT teams, the innovation teams. And as a manager, you'll be expected to, kind of work with the business stakeholder and the IT stakeholder, like the CIO and the line of business heads, to create a common platform where you're driving innovation. Basically, industry, if a company is not innovating at a high speed, the competition will take over, right? And this company goes out of business. So today, I think every company is looking at innovating new ways in product, customer experience, platform, whatever it be, right? Because you're as good as your last quarter, not even the last year. So continuously, the competition is innovating. Whoever innovates products and services which is going to be appealing to the end customer is going to lead the industry, right? So I think that is the basic role of an innovation manager. And then you have sales and business development. So there are a lot of positions where there is scoping, RFPs, proposals, because end of the day, a company is going to be active and alive only when it grows. And for it to grow, you need to have a continuous sales and business development engine running. So with an MBA with IT experience, there are roles which are there, which is in the pre-sales group or the sales group, where you're working with the end client, RFPs, or it will be proactive proposals, where you're doing estimation, writing up the proposals, and there is a lot of client involvement in this, and senior management. Right? These are very roles where senior management is involved along with the so-called IT business development manager. So this is another role. Then, of course, based on the level of seniority, people can even get up to, the IT director, chief technology officer. This would be a growth path, right? I mean, you end up getting promoted over a period of time in terms of, once you get into the company, how you do, how you perform, how you take control of each and every work that you have delivered with your teams. So, you can get into the CTO, the CIO role. And of course, at the beginner level, you have a project manager and the program manager role. A program manager is essentially a larger program, which is a global rollout. A project management would be a relatively a smaller project. Okay. So this quickly, a summary. I thought sectors and companies that hire typically would be, say, technology companies, consulting firms, financial services, pharma, healthcare, retailers, consumer goods, right? So high level and an example of companies that are hiring. Okay, so this gives you an idea on, what's the current landscape. So this was, I think, my last slide, with which I'll pause and I'll kind of I think we can open it up, Andrila, for questions.
Sure. So we do have a couple of questions. Um, First question, I think, is for Surajit sir. Sir, students are asking, do you have any specifications for the laptops that they need to purchase? Like some students want to purchase new laptops who are joining this program. Any specifications?
Yeah, so I mean, there is no such requirement or specifications for a particular laptop. It is not like you need to purchase a very high-end laptop. So any reasonably, because these days even an entry-level laptop comes with a reasonably good specification. So, for example, the laptop that I generally use, if I talk from my personal experience, the specification probably is 1 TB of hard disk. Maybe I don't recall the RAM specification, but even an entry level laptop, it might be from HP or it might be from Lenovo, it might be from even if you are interested in purchasing a Mac and so on, any kind of entry specification laptop is good enough. We are not specifying that you need to come with a laptop of a certain specification and all that. Any reasonably good laptop is good enough for us.
Yeah.
And it is, and maybe Chirantan can add to it.
Yeah, I'll add to that. So I think don't go for a high-end Apple and all that. It's not worth it, right? I mean, it's good for just show off, and it's not worth it. Go for a Intel-based. Don't go for an AMD. Maybe Intel-based. I think you can go for a standard, as Professor said. 1 TB is good enough, and RAM maybe 16 GB of RAM, and go for a product. I mean, a brand which has good service. That's important. For example, make sure it's insured and you get a warranty support. So I don't know whether Professor Surajit is in the earlier batches. Was there any like a standard where most of the students went for, say, Lenovo? Lenovo is good. I use Lenovo, so Lenovo is pretty good. And I've used Dell in the past, right? HP is also there. So just I think between these three, I think you can pick up. I mean, these are pretty reasonably. I think Lenovo is pretty good that way. And with these two specifications, whatever is you don't have to go for the latest high-end processor. Whatever is because see, you're not going to be doing deep, kind of rendering or data mining and all of that. So you need to possibly run MS Office, some simulations. So I think that should be good enough. What Professor said.
So the next question that we have is there any requirement for hands-on programming when doing the course, or when after graduating and when they start doing their jobs? Do they need to do any kind of programming? Do they need to learn this?
Do you want me to take it, sir? Yeah, go ahead.
So, any of you can take up this question.
Yeah, I'll add to it. Professor, go ahead.
Okay. So see, the idea is if you are going for, so the entire program is designed not to make you as a programmer. Programmer is an offshoot of this particular program. So of course there might be certain courses specifically related to data analytics where you need to program. But having said that, it does not mean that if you are and it is not like a very high-end kind of programming. It is something that you should have, or it is good to have as a skill set. But it does not mean that that you might be joining the industry as a programmer. But having a good understanding of programming for certain, so there are certain courses which requires a little bit of understanding of programming, and you may have to code using Python and all that. But that is fine. But that does not restrict you to saying that you will be absorbed in the industry only as a programmer, because that is not the overall objective of this entire program. So the idea of this particular program in PGDM in IT is to develop a overall understanding of the IT industry, and not only IT industry, and the different emerging tech that is used in different sectors. So that is the idea. So I don't know. I mean, if you have any apprehension about programming, that okay, let's say you are coming from a commerce background or an arts background, and then you might have some apprehension that whether I would be able to code and all that. So it is starting at a very basic level. Even if you don't have any idea about programming and you have any apprehension that I'm coming from a non-programming, non-tech background, will it be suitable for you? Can you take it up? That should not be an apprehension at all. We will teach you from a very basic level, and with a if you have a reasonably, like if you have a curiosity in mind, that and you have that commitment to learning, I don't think there will be any there is roadblocks in terms of learning and all that. We will completely handhold in terms of whatever is required. But let me also share. Chirantan would like to share your thoughts.
Yeah, sure. Sure. So I think, yeah, I completely agree what Professor Surajit said. But just to kind of, just a analogy, right? All of you would possibly come from different backgrounds, right? Some of you may be engineering graduates, somebody who's already done computer science and has worked maybe in a software company for a few years. Because of the previous batches, we've seen a lot of people who worked in TCS, Cognizant for 3, 4, 5 years, and then they've joined the program, right? So they will have a different level of understanding. So my view is very simple. If you are a Tendulkar, there's no point for you to keep practicing bowling, right? You should play with your strengths. You should rather practice more on your core strength. But remember, whether it's Tendulkar or Virat Kohli, when required, they do ball, right? Spin ball, they can take wickets. So my view is, if you are investing in this program, don't, I would say don't be lazy. It is highly recommended that Python is very easy. Okay, it is very, very easy, and don't have that. Let me tell you, in my life, I've seen the best programmers who were BCom graduates who did an NIIT programming, for 3 years, and they were far better programmers than the IIT engineers that we hired from computer science backgrounds. Okay, so get this myth out of your head that if I'm a BCom or a BA, I won't do programming. No. Today, if you look at the CBSE syllabus of class 9, and my daughter is right now in 10, and I was telling this to Professor Surajit in our board meeting also. Professor it's a professor setting when we went through the latest curriculum of class 9 and 10 has an AIML book, okay, which is part of the syllabus. Okay, it's part of their standard syllabus now in 9 and 10. You can look up and Google, and you can download it. It's free. This is what Prime Minister Modi has ensured. It has come down to the school level. What I kind of learned about 6 years back at Triple IT, right? For us overall 6 months program, an executive program, a deep AML program, all of that is today getting covered in that particular, it's a booklet designed by about 160 pages by Intel and some of the top leaders, the companies, and that has become a textbook today for 9 and 10. So today, let me tell you, all of you, you should challenge yourself. Can't you think that you can compete with a class 9 and 10 student? Of course, you've passed out 9 and 10. So the level of, in AIML, you will need to do a little bit of mathematics and statistics, for example, which is all 9 and 10 level. Okay, it'll be really refreshing. And let me tell you, many a time, we don't appreciate why did we learn this part of statistics? Why did I learn matrices, determinists? We don't understand. But when you see AIML, oh, this is where it's being applied. See, the applied, the moment you realize that where will I apply and where will I see the results? And if I can do it myself, my team can never fool me. Remember one thing, and this is something in the skill development, workshop, Prime Minister Modi was insisting. There was somebody in the audience asked, "Sir, I'm looking for a job. I've done my graduation in so and so, but I'm not getting a job." So Prime Minister said, "Okay, good. आप क्या कर सकते हो?" He says, "Sir, I'm a engineer in electronics. I'm looking for a job." Again, he replies, "आप क्या कर सकते हो मेरे लिए?" Third time, again, he repeats that I've got this so-called degree and I'm looking for a job. Prime Minister Modi again replies, "What the hell can you do for me?" Got it? So I think what I'm trying to say here is, end of the day, degrees and all will just be an entry criteria to get into the corporate world. After that, what is it that you can do for the company matters. Okay, so all of you, I think Professor was very soft. I would recommend on your own, just 5 days it takes to pick up Python. There are free courses in YouTube, free. If you want, you can spend 10,000 rupees, which is given for 550 rupees in Coursera, Udemy. They keep doing sale all the time. Those are more structured. Go with the reviews. But if you really want to have if you're very ambitious that, hey, I want to travel all over the world, I want to master AIML, I want to control and make connections with the CIOs who are driving AIML initiatives. I want to be in a leadership position very soon after I join, after my MBA, get promoted very fast, go and relocate in the US or Canada or Europe and drive teams on site. If you have that fire in the belly, then pick up Python programming, because after that, that is a basic. I mean, you don't have to use it day to day. But if you know that, how it is designed, on top of it, you've got TensorFlow. These are various tools. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Like when you're driving a car, you as an automobile engineer, you don't have to manufacture the carburetor, right? So when you're a driver, you're just driving the car. So, but If you're an automobile engineer, you have to know how to build a carburetor, for example. Got it? So the same thing. You will possibly not use Python programming, but when you are doing a project on Python and your teams are estimating, you have a technical architect, a business analyst, they're estimating, and they estimate something which is a 1,000 man-day job, they give you a 10,000 man-day. You will never win that deal because your competition will give 1,000 and win the deal. And you're not able to validate. Why? Because you don't have the knowledge. So you'll always feel that you're handicapped. So my point is, don't ever go defensive and come with a mindset that, okay, can I avoid doing this? Don't do that. We are looking at this program with students who are fire in the belly to come and really perform, because this batch is going to be the brand ambassador for IMT. And this alumni, which is going to be going out, the companies that are going to hire you, based on how you do in the companies, they will come back and hire 10 more times, right? So we'll have to open up more and more sections, more and more batches. So we are going to be investing a lot in this particular batch. Professor Surajit and the team, we had a clear discussion. We want you also to invest your time and your energy for the 2 years when you're in the campus, if selected, and to do it very sincerely. All right, next.
So the next question that we have is, which IT tool or AI tool can the students familiarize with in order to prepare for the course? So before joining the program, is there anything in these 2 months? So the students have like a couple of months with themselves before they join us on 17th of June for the orientation program. Do you recommend any kind of, tools or skills that they should pick up before coming here in order to, make it smoother for them?
Yeah, so very simple thing, right? Just first on the programming side, do the Python. It's 1 week of Python. If you do seriously, get out of social media, get off your mobile phone, concentrate for a week is good enough, right? But if you're doing part-time, it can take, a couple of weeks. But do that sincerely. I would say take over a certification program, which is either a Coursera or a Udemy, because you can put that in your LinkedIn also, right? So that will help you in your placements in future, right? So take up something around, which is a certified program. YouTube is anyway there. So that is one. After that, see, once you know that, you can play around with things like tools like TensorFlow is there. And don't play with too many. And when it comes to the ID, Google has something called Colab, Google Colab. You can just open, if you have a Gmail account, you can sign into Google Colab and you can start writing Python programs. You don't even need to download a Jupyter notebook or a PyTorch, which are IDEs. Okay. So all of you note it down. If you were to write the first program, we typically write Hello World in any language, whether it's Java, COBOL, whether it's Python, Hello World program. So you just have to Google and say, so it's actually Collab, C-O-L-A-B, collaboration actually. Collab.google.com, I think that's the URL. So just open Collab, and then there is a go to python.org. It has all free manuals and the training manual. That is your master actually, from where all books get created. Okay. So if you have got Python.org, there are left side menu, you will find the complete manual of latest version of Python. That is good enough. If you're able to start enjoying writing programs, and then after that, as I said, that is like you're designing the carburetor. How do you become an automobile engineer? After that, when you've done that, you can enjoy driving the Ferrari. Got it? So that is like TensorFlow. Over there, you're not getting into the under the hood level. You are now enjoying the ride. So these tools which is like TensorFlow and all, which comes from Google, Facebook has its own tool, Amazon has its own tool, Microsoft. So all of it. Other thing which I think you should all explore is ChatGPT today, because not to become lazy, but how do you give the prompts to get, if you've not used it, figure out how do you don't have to take a paid version, take the free version, take ChatGPT. But that doesn't mean that you should start taking ChatGPT for doing a project when you join IMT, for example. Okay, then it'll be caught. Right? ChatGPT is for building up your own knowledge and as a general knowledge, but don't use that for copy paste. Okay, then it'll be like people who are in the industry like us, we can figure out what is a ChatGPT or like Google search, right? You do a copy paste. Don't get into that mode in future, but explore, because there's a lot that OpenAI, ChatGPT, there are other versions, Copilot from Microsoft. Explore these. Okay, explore these. That will be great, because then you will have some meaningful conversations. The other thing, explore the class 9 and 10. Just Google and find out what mathematics and statistics topics do I need to learn AIML, artificial intelligence machine learning. Okay, it will say statistics. These are the 3 or 4 areas. Maths, okay, algebra, matrices, determinants. So they'll give you a list. It is a class. NCERT books are free. Let me tell you, NCERT textbooks of maths and statistics all are free. You can go Google it up, download the books, all free. Go through those chapters. That is good enough. Or one more for mathematical topics. 3B, 1B, 3 blue, 1 brown. It is a YouTube channel. So in IIIT, for example, whenever in mathematical domain we have any doubts or problems, that is one of the best YouTube channels for understanding mathematical concepts. Okay, so you can bookmark that YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and that will give you a fantastic understanding of how is that mathematics that you learned is getting applied, and the concepts which possibly were not clear when you were in 9 and 10, those will be clarified now. Okay.
So the next question, Surajit sir, is that is there any other specialization which the students opting for PGDM IT can choose for? Do they have an option for dual specialization? Like we have 6 more specializations. Can they choose something?
Of course, the major thrust is on IT. So it is not like, so the idea, entire curriculum. So let me give you an understanding of the curriculum itself, so broadly. So the idea is that it is not like typical our flagship PGDM program where you are going through the foundational courses in year 1, and then you have the option to specialize either a major or minor in the second year onwards. So that is not the idea. The idea behind is that you have a mix of both foundational and IT courses right from your term 1, which is year 1. So there will be foundational courses in the business functions like marketing, let's say finance, accounting, OB, HR, along with certain technological courses, like if you talk about machine learning, and if you talk about IT project management and so on, strategic management, these are all there. In addition to that, there are certain track courses which you can come across in year second year, okay, which will be specifically related to a particular. So let's say you want to take up something to do with financial technologies or financial analytics or risk analytics. If you talk about marketing analytics, if you talk about, let's say, something to do with the HR domain and on. So the entire program is designed in such a way that you have a balance of both functional subjects as well as technology subjects. So the thrust area is in technology, but you can have a specific track in terms of like technology with related to marketing or finance or HR or something. So that is the idea. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. We will wrap up with our webinar, and a big thank you for both of you, Mr. Chatterjee and Surajit sir, for joining us for this webinar. I think we have clarified most of the doubts and most of the questions that have been raised by our students. And if there are any more questions, you all can, send us a mail to admissions@imthyderabad.edu.in, and we will accordingly forward your mails to Mr. Chatterjee and Professor Surajit sir if required. Any more communication for people joining us for the PGDM IT program, we will soon be mailing you all with all the requirements and with all the specific dates of joining. Thank you so much to all our attendees for joining us. We are short of time. I think we are just a couple of minutes left for us. Thank you so much, and we will close the webinar for now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
All the best.